screencast is an introduction to mental health, just to go over the issues and how it is connected to technology, and also what we'll be doing today. And then there's three more screencasts that have some finer details. So, one thing about health, we do want to have longitudinal studies that should show the trend over time. So, for example, we can show the impact that cigarette smoking might have on a person, because people have been smoking cigarettes for a very, very long time. But we can't do as much for social media because it's, you know, only invented about 15 years ago, so we might not know the long-term effects over the course of a lifetime. And then if somebody was talking about internet addiction in the 90s, it is totally different now with mobile devices, so it's hard to make a bit of the connection. So some of the research is a little bit incomplete. Definitely one thing that can happen is depression. There's a correlation between using social networking and depression. That happens a couple of reasons. We metrification. We want likes, we want comments, we want reposts, and if we don't get that, it can be very, very distressing. Secondly, you have an altered perception of the characteristics of others. You get the pressure to show the best version of yourself, and you assume that what people are showing online is the way they are all the time, but that's not the case. And then you can also get that fear of missing out when you think that things are happening and you're being excluded. And sort of it can lead to a bit of a cycle, feeling sad, checking social media, getting sadder, and that's one thing to be aware of. You might want to put your phone away if you're not having a great day. And you might want to just go through it with a sort of neutral mindset, that understand that it's just a device and not the be all and end all. Can lead to so low self-esteem. 60% of people have had an issue with self-esteem, especially in a negative way. Like rude comments, harassment. Comparing yourself to people who are posting. You don't know what's going on with them, and also it can promote narcissism when people want their image to be validated. They'll post a selfie and want other people to like it. They'll try to act as if they are an influencer when really not. They do it to get attention, and then they can feel bad if they don't receive enough likes. So here's an infographic from Dove. One thing that I thought was girls want 3 times as many likes as they currently get. So maybe that 5 likes is reasonable, but someone might want more. And even the people have deleted photos if they don't get enough likes. I would post something online for yourself, not for other people. A lot of times people are on social media a lot, and it can influence their own self-confidence. So there's some stats here that you might find interesting. Addiction is definitely something that happens. And these days, Facebook addiction or social media addiction is searched 350 times more than cigarette addiction. 54% of US teens worry they spend too much time. More than half have tried to reduce their phone use. Almost 60% have tried to spend less time on social media. And 60% associate being away with their phones with feeling anxious, lonely, or upset. Here you can see how people rate whether they're spending too much time on their phone, on social media, on video games, or just right, or too little time. And you can see there's a lot of people who feel like they're using too much. People have tried to give it up, but it is tempting to always go check that phone, or you see a message alert, or you see the notification badge, and it's like the same reaction as a gambler who hits a slot machine. It sort of brings a level of alertness to your brain that you want to go check it. Social media and phones can be linked to a poor quality of sleep.
The impact of screens on sleep. People are exposing their eyes to this stream of photons from these objects that basically tells your brain, stay awake, it's not time to go to sleep yet. So it's 10 p.m., it's 11 p.m., it's 12 p.m., you're checking for email, you're looking for text, you're doing all these things. That light beams in you. It tells your brain, don't secrete melatonin yet, it's not time for sleep. And you're up at 12:30, you're up at 1, you're checking some more because you're up after all, why shouldn't you check? Now, you go to bed at 1, you wake up at 6 to get ready for work, that's 5 hours of sleep. We now know that what sleep is likely doing is allowing your active neurons to rest, which is fine. But more than that, the supportive cells, called glial cells, are now cleaning up the toxins that the neurons produce. And if you don't get from 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you just get 5, the toxins remain there for over 95% of people. There are a small percentage of people who are genetically different. They don't need that much sleep. But for the vast majority of us, we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So even though it's like a badge of courage, I only had 3 hours of sleep last night and I'm working today, it makes your attention falter, your memory is impaired, your ability to think through problems is challenged. Your insulin, even, that helps regulate your metabolism, is turned upside down, so you're more likely to gain weight from what you eat and eat more. And then, if that weren't enough, it's actually toxic to the connections in your cells. So, in your brain. So what you want to do is prioritize sleep. Shut off your screens, let's say by 9 p.m. Give yourself an hour at least before you're going to bed and keep those screens off. It's a serious, serious problem for everyone. And we can do something about it by actually actively deciding that's what we're going to do, is take care of this aspect of the digital domain.
So adults feel the same way. 50% report that social media has negative effects on their social life, that using Facebooks make them feel sad and lonely, and they've neglected real life social functions like their family or their offline friends in order to go online. So it's not just a problem for younger people, but for those. However, there can be some positive effects. There can be a way to meet people outside of your own community and develop friends online. It's been a way for people to touch base during the physical distancing. If you see somebody lose weight or becoming fit, it might inspire others, might inspire you to do the same thing. And Facebook and can look for depressive symptoms and suicidal ideation and perhaps intervene. So what do you need to do today? Well, we're going to work in pairs. So we're going to find someone to collaborate with, and so that we can do this in a bit of a jigsaw method, where one person explains, the other person sort of can learn from the other groups, and so on. I'm going to pick one of these issues. The disruption of sleep, precarious employment, that's jobs that don't last very long. You don't know how many hours you'll work or whether the contract will end. The shifts can change at the last moment. You can have anxiety, the isolation, the fear of missing out, depression, stress at work, stress at school, stress related to families and technologies, how it's changed relationships, how it's changed peer pressure, reduced physical activity, addiction, bullying. And when you do that, please find a journal article, use the library website, watch the screencast on how to get a journal article. I'm going to make a visual aid, so sum up your information quickly. So for example, here's a quick fact. Children who spend 3 hours per school day on social media report a um, higher difficulties than those who are under 3 hours. And if you have any questions at the start of today's class, you can email me, and then I can help you through them while you are